Hello! Today we're going to talk about boards or light boxes. The best way to use this feature is to go ahead and get an account on the Superstock Media Licensing platform, which houses a number of sites, including Superstock and All Canada Photos, to mention a couple. To start a board, simply do a search. At the bottom of the search pane, you're going to see the Creative Boards widget. Open that, click the plus button, give the board a name. Let's say we're doing a lifestyle website. Great. Now, if you're in dynamic view, you'll see the plus button to add to a board, and it will start adding to the board so you can keep organized as you're doing your search. This is also available in dynamic view. Same thing with the rollover. Now let's say we have, we have enough yoga and jogging shots and we want to do some healthy food. And we want to see everything from the premium collection with healthy food. All right, and we find here's some good stuff here. I'll click on this to add. Might work well for our website. And as you're working in the grid, you can add to the end of the board or the beginning of the board by clicking these radial buttons. Once you're ready to work with your board, simply click Open Creative Board. Now you're in the active board area. The top level of buttons affect everything in the board. The buttons below affect images that you've selected within the board. Working through the selections in the top area, you can choose to share your board. And there's a couple of ways to share. One is to share with up to 10 different colleagues by separating the email addresses as such. And you can choose if you want to work collaboratively by clicking Enable Editing for the registered user, and that user has to be registered on the site. If you unclick this, that means they'll have to clone the board, and they'll have their own discrete copy of the board they can do their own editing on, but that won't affect your board. You can also choose not to send an email announcing that the board has been shared with them. If you're talking to somebody across the office, you don't necessarily need to have an email going saying, hey, a board's been shared with you. So just click that if you don't want to send an email announcing the board being shared. If you'd like to share the board with just a link, click on Copy Link. That'll be on your clipboard, and you can just email that link. They can then open the board and see the board, create an account, save that board to their account. The third option is downloading a PDF. By clicking this, a PDF will be generated of all the images in the board, which makes a handy reference if you want to have something that you can take notes on or pass around the office. There you go. Looks something like this. If you want to remove this board from your working space, simply archive it. You'll still have it, but it won't clutter up your board area that shows all of the boards you're currently working on. And of course, you can delete the board if you no longer need the board and you don't want to archive it. And of course, there's a tooltip here that will give you details about all of these actions we're discussing. Now let's select a few images from the board and manipulate them within the board. Firstly, you can click and select an image and drag and drop it to change the order of the board. Under each image, there's a selection of icons. Move to top, move to bottom, set cover or the poster frame for the board. I'll show you that in a moment. Click to go to the asset page itself. If you have high-res downloads available to you, which are available to our customers that would like a high-resolution, non-watermarked image that they can use in their comps, by simply requesting that from our account executives, you can download the high-res. You can download a comp-res image, which will have a watermark. Let's see here. That's a vertical. Here we go. And that's usually good enough for layout and that kind of thing. You also can add the image directly to your cart, or you can remove it from the board altogether. I just clicked remove, and now let me send this one to the bottom. Maybe it's not my favorite. Now I'm going to select a few images. I can copy them. I can move them to another board. I can download them as a group download file. And if I do that, I can choose the resolution for downloading. And I then need to go to my customer portal page, and I can see that the download has been queued. It's working on the download, and now it's done. It's ready to go. Click download. Move back to boards by clicking on boards. Go to my tutorial board, and I'll show you this is how to set the cover shot. So if I click here, now the vegetables should be the cover shot for the tutorial board. I can grab a number of images and remove them all together. I can also click on images in the board that I think are pretty close to what I'm looking for and click Search Similars. So we'll put the image or images in the top of the search, and we'll go and try to find other images based on the visual content. I can also select all the images, or none of the images, and I can add them conveniently to the cart. Once I've decided, these are all the images I want for my project, I'm ready to license. You'll see they're added to the cart. Click up here, and you can set the license before checking out. Level of the boards feature, you'll see your active boards, boards that have been shared with me from other users, and they'll have one of two icons. They'll either have, no icon, or they'll have an icon here that says read only. This means that I can look at the board, but I cannot make changes to it unless I clone a copy of this board to make it my own. Now that I've cloned it, it's a copy of the board, and I can do whatever I want with that board at this point. If, however, a board was shared with me in collaborative mode, you would not see this icon, and the changes that you make in that board will be reflected in the board that the person who sent it to you will also see. So you can work collaboratively. You can have a whole team that's working on a single board, adding images to the board and discussing the best images for the project. And of course, you have your archived boards here, boards that you no longer need, but you don't want to get rid of them, but maybe they're from last year or the year before. You may want to come back to them. The active board selector will choose the board that you'd like to work on as you move forward on the site. So I have lifestyle website selected, but let's say I now want to switch to the new summer board. Now that's the board that will be active, and I'll be adding new images to as I work through the site. So now if I go to the site and I start looking for summer landscapes, for example, and I start adding these to a board, they're going to add to my new summer board, which is down here. So you can always use the pop-up here also to select a board that you'd like to be working on. I, of course, have a lot of boards. Let's say I have a project. I can switch to that project, and then I can add new images as I search to that board. We can also sort boards from the last updated or by name. We can search for boards. I had the summer board I was working on, but maybe I don't see it. So I type in summer. There's my new summer board, and there's my new images I added to that board. Also, from the boards page, by clicking new, you can start a new board. This feature is really powerful, and we hope that you enjoy using it. If there are other functions you'd like to see added, please don't hesitate to let us know. We'd be happy to make adjustments to the code. Get stuck, the tooltips always here for the main board tips, and within a board for the boards themselves. Thank you again for choosing Superstock Media Licensing Companies for your creative projects.